everyone, it's Shel C from PaperOcotilloStudio, and today I'm sharing with you a art journal page in my mixed media art journal that has the spiral binding that allows me to remove the pages. It is mixed media paper, not watercolor paper, but I'm going to be using watercolor to color my page. It is inspired by the July um, mood board from our Art Joy Sharing art community on Facebook. You can come and join us. We have a challenge, we have a mood board. Sometimes we have daily challenges. It just depends on the month. And this mood board was all about summer, hot summer nights, lazy days at the beach, hanging around, not having to go to school, eating citrus desserts and, that type of stuff, sunglasses. And then also in our group every month we have a theme. And this month it's hashtag AJOS Neon Pop, which is all about using fluorescent neon colors along with your art. So that's what I'm doing today. I was inspired by this one picture down in the corner that says "Let's Get Weird" in neon. I just thought that sounded fun. But anything on the board can inspire you. Maybe it's a picture, maybe it's multiple pictures, maybe it's the color scheme. We've got a little color scheme there that you can use, or maybe it's just the general mood of the board, which is summer. So anything on there can inspire you for your art. It's a fun little challenge to think about the board and what you want to do. So I started out by taping down my paper with some painter's tape. Little tip, when you start to take that stuff off, you might want to use a heat tool to warm up the glue so that it doesn't peel back the paper as well as you're taking off. But it leaves a nice clean border around the page. And also because of the spiral, I just like to tape that part down. I don't like to get paint on the spiral. So then I'm using a mechanical pencil with a soft graphite lead and a white plastic eraser to draw out this little picture. I was thinking, let's get weird. I was thinking I'll do an animal. I like to make animals on my art journal pages and my art. I like to collage them. I just think animals are hilarious and cute and fun, and you can't help but smile. So I was thinking about my favorite fluorescent color being pink. I like the fluorescent pink the best of all of them. And what animals are pink? Well, pigs can be pink. And so that's what made me decide to do a funny pig on my page. So I've got my illustration done. I'm getting out some paint. I thought I was going to use the acrylic gouache, and I decided not to after all. So it being on the screen is giving you false information. Instead, I end up using this handmade watercolor set. It's comes in a little tin. I bought it off Etsy, an Etsy shop, and I'll put a link below the video to tell you where you can go and get it if you want it, because it's really fun. It's bright fluorescent watercolor, and there's 12 colors in there. Some of them are more fluorescenting than others, but this yellow that I'm using is crazy fluorescent. And so I got a couple brushes out, watercolor brushes, and I've got some water and paper towel, and that's all I really need. So I started doing the background with that really crazy bright yellow. I thought, it's sunny, it's hot, it's crazy, and so fluorescent yellow seemed like the right color for the background. And then there's like several different red pink combinations here. There's ones that are more toward the orange side, and there's ones that are more towards the red side, and then there's one that's kind of mostly pink, and I decided to use that one mostly, which is the one up in the corner at the top on the right hand side. But I end up using the reddish one as well, and I'm just putting layers of watercolor on. So I've got water, clean water. I put that down where I want to put the paint, and then I pick up the paint with my brush and put it down. I also went and grabbed this other watercolor set. This one is Japanese watercolors, and I was thinking I might want to use a few of those in combination. I didn't end up using it hardly at all, but I did use the white, this watercolor set, which, who makes it? Sakura, I think. I don't know. I'll put a link for it below as well. Um, it has white watercolor, which is kind of gouache, right? I don't know. But anyway, it's more of opaque watercolors than just watercolor. Like they're they're different. This watercolor set's different, and I thought I might need a little bit of that, so I grabbed it. So I'm putting down my transparent layers, letting them dry, move to a different space to let it dry down, and then coming and adding more over the top. That's kind of how watercolor works, is you start and you paint it and it's like, oh, it's bright and beautiful, but then when it starts to dry, it becomes lighter, and so you're layering colors one over top of the other. I did make kind of a brownish color by mixing this fluorescent green and the fluorescent red together. You know, if you mix two colors that are opposing each other on the color wheel, they're across from each other, then you end up getting a brown or a gray. And even with the fluorescent colors, that still works. I was doing a little bit of a vignette, darkening the corners using some of that kind of dark yellow from the other palette. And I did use some of the darker blues from the other palette as well. So I think on the claws, I'm using a brown, and I mean, they're not really claws. You know, pigs have 2 feet that are attached together. It's a split hoof kind of situation. So not really claws, but they kind of look like claws. Anyway, just continuing to paint, continuing to add layers of color, continuing to try to fill in with some shadow and highlight. Sometimes I take clean water and I put it in an area, and then I take my clean paper towel and pick up color if I think that I've gotten it too dark in an area. Works pretty well even on this mixed media paper. I wasn't sure because it might be a little bit more absorbent than watercolor. I'm not sure. But anyway, yeah, it's working out pretty good. I decided to make the fence kind of a teal blue because I didn't want to use brown. I mean, at a farm, the fence would probably be a wood brown color, but I wanted something that was complementary to the pink and the yellow. So I ended up picking this dark teal. I figured they painted their fence. It doesn't have to be brown, right? Here I am adding some of that white and mixing it with the pink to try to make a really light pink for highlighted areas, but then I ended up just kind of pulling back some of the color by blotting as well. Just, you know, adding highlights and shadows was my idea. So the pig is looking pretty cute. Start working on the crown a little bit, adding some highlight and shadowed areas on the crown, and using the fluorescent orange and then the fluorescent yellow for the really obvious highlight. And I'm liking that kind of red-orange with the combination of the pink. Like the two of them together make for interesting color. And then, of course, the green and red mixed together to make kind of a brownish sort of shadow color. The glasses, I did blue. The blue from the neon set, which, is it really blue? Is it really neon? Is it really fluorescent? Not that much, but they say it is. They add it in there. So, whatever. There's also a fluorescent violet, which I didn't use. And then the darker colors coming from the other palette. I decided that I need some crazy weird flowers or something because the background was just too boring. So I'm using the green to make some stalks for something that might be growing out on a farm, I guess. Probably not. Ended up being a little bit too weird, but that was the point. It was supposed to be weird. Then I guess I did use that violet color. Or no, no, that's the dark red from up in the corner, maybe. I don't know. I can't remember at this point. But I'm just adding in some floral motif a little bit to my background because it was getting too boring with just the yellow. Coming back in with another layer of color again, like you do. This was super fun. I was having a lot of fun with this. Does it scream something from the mood board? Maybe not, but it's weird. I think I added in a little bit of orange, the fluorescent orangey color to the flowers. And I'm just about done, ready to dry it somewhat, I think. Because it is an illustration, I'm going to use illustration lines once it's dry with a pencil or something. I think I did end up using a pencil actually. Yep, here we are getting it dry. I also wanted some words on there, something funny, and I ended up finding some stickers in this Dilutions Bigger Back Chat set, which I thought were kind of funny. Yeah, here I am getting ready to do some illustrations. So I think I grabbed a pencil. This is a Payne's Gray Inktense pencil. So it is water soluble until it's been activated and then is dry. And it's a dark blue, almost black. So I'm adding back in my illustration lines with that. And around the stickers as well. And then I grabbed my white Posca pen, starting out with the fatter one. I don't know if I used the smaller one or not, but this one is like got a big fat tip on it, and that's of course acrylic ink in a pen. I hope you've enjoyed this project. I hope you will come over to Art Joy of Sharing and be inspired by our mood board and our monthly step out challenge and our theme for this month. If you liked it, remember to give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment or a question below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Turn on your notification bells so that you know there's a fresh new video. Or join my channel membership for exclusive content. That's it for me. Thanks. Bye-bye.